It's time for Am I the Jerk Stories. Thanks for tuning in to Kazu Reads Reddit. Am I the jerk for leaving a work meeting early without telling my manager because my kid's daycare called? Alright, interesting story. Let's see what this is about. My son is free, and last Wednesday I was sitting in a 2-hour team meeting when my phone started buzzing. It was the daycare. He had spiked a fever and they needed someone to pick him up within the hour. That's their policy. I stepped out quietly, texted my manager, "Sorry, have to go, family emergency," and left. Didn't wait for a response, didn't ask permission, just grabbed my stuff and went. When I got there, he was pretty miserable. Took him home, fever came down by evening, and he was fine the next day, so nothing serious in the end. But when I came back to work, my manager sat me down and said, "Leaving mid-meeting without proper notice was unprofessional, especially because there were people from another department in the room." He said I could have at least waited until a break or asked someone to cover for me somehow. I honestly don't know what cover for me even means in that context. I wasn't presenting anything. I was just sitting there. He's been a bit off with me since, and my coworker mentioned he brought it up after I left that day, which made me feel worse. I don't regret leaving because there was no version of that situation where I stay in a meeting while my kid is sick and alone. But now I keep thinking maybe I should have handled the exit differently at least. Okay, so let's see what the other users are saying about this. Here's the first one. I'm a manager and I was in a meeting when I heard one of my employees talking quietly on their phone before poking their head in my office. They said, "My kid," and I just waved him away and said, "Go, don't worry about it." All right, so we have a manager here, and I do understand what the OP or where the OP is coming from, and I think we forget that the employees that are under our employ, they are also human beings, right? Before they became, corporate slaves. And I think having a lot of consideration for their situation is a great deal, great big thing, especially when you as a manager as well, you're also a human being who also has needs, and who knows, maybe someday you'll also have a family emergency and you will look back to the moment when you were thankful because, you were considerate to your employee, and therefore when your boss also became considerate with you, then it feels amazing, right? So let's see the next comment. Not the jerk. You texted your manager, you had a family emergency. That's all that's required in a situation like this. Family comes first. Very good, and 100% I also agree with this. Let's go ahead and see the next comment. From Intelligent Boot 6068, I hate when corporate supervisors or the like act like you're a soldier and not human, and like human things don't happen to you. All that's required is a text or sticky note saying you're leaving because of a personal emergency and clock out. Very good. Yeah, as mentioned before, let's always remember that the people under our employ are human beings, right? They're not objects, they're not slaves, and I think regardless whether your background is similar to your employer or not, it helps to be a little bit more sensitive, right? It also appears good on the reputation of the company and on the boss to be like this. So let us know down in the comments below what you think about this story, and we will move on to the next one. From Frosty Marketing 868, am I the jerk for taking back a coffee machine I gave my younger sister after she started charging everyone to use it? Okay, interesting story. Let's see more about the context. My younger sister moved into a house with 3 roommates, and I gave her my old espresso machine since I had upgraded. It still worked perfectly and originally cost me around $500. I told her it was for the house. After some time, I visited and saw a handwritten price list taped beside it. She was charging $1 per coffee and said it was to cover the beans, milk, cleaning tablets, and general upkeep. At first, that sounded fair, but one of her roommates told me she had already made over $100, and the supplies definitely hadn't cost anywhere near that much. I told her that wasn't why I gave it to her. She said it became hers the second I handed it over and she can do whatever she wants with it. She also said the roommates were still paying way less than they would at a cafe. So I unplugged it, put it in my car, and took it home. My younger sister says I basically stole a gift and embarrassed her in front of everyone. My parents agreed that charging them was tacky, but think taking it back crossed the line since it technically belonged to her. Am I the jerk? Alright, interesting. I want to see the comments. From Orange007, roommates plus friend were probably drinking all her stuff. Sister found a way to make it work, and she's right. They paid way less than a coffee shop. You gave it away, it wasn't yours anymore. Okay, I kind of disagree with what the OP posted as well, because when you give something away, it's not a loan, it's not for rent. You basically gave the ownership and freedom to do whatever that person wants with the machine, and it doesn't matter whether she is your sister or not. And to be honest, she's making wise use of the machine, and they are indeed paying for less compared to them going to Starbucks, right? So let's see the next comment. Did you even ask her how much of a profit she made? Buying the coffee beans, syrups, half the milk, etc. Likely ate most of that. Not to mention she cleans and takes care of it. Honestly, the roommates are getting a deal. You're the jerk. Alright, that's what I'm saying, right? Let's see the next comment. This is a long one from House on Post. You're the jerk. Why do you believe our roommate over your own sister? If she didn't charge the dollar, the roommates will be drinking a lot more coffee, and guess who gets to pay for the supplies? Give it back and apologize. Alright, good advice, I like that. Or tell her not to charge anything and you will take over the cleaning and buying supplies. But really, why would you care? Excellent point. All right, so I think we are in agreement that since this coffee machine, yeah, it formerly belonged to you or the OP, but since you handed it over, your sister already has all the rights to do whatever she wants with it, and she's actually being responsible in taking care of it and in providing for the needs of other people as well, right? So let us know what you think about the story, and we're moving on to the next one. From Preparation Deep 9283, Update 5, Taking Control of My Life, Moving to Georgia, and Filing for Emancipation. Okay, this is actually a little bit more life-changing compared to the previous one. Let's see what this is about and why this is posted on AmITheJerk. TLDR, I am not letting them ruin my future. Next week, I am leaving for Georgia to live with my good auntie. As soon as I turn 16 next month, I am filing for emancipation in juvenile court. I have my own income, I know how to budget, and I am finally checking out of this toxic situation for good. Hi guys, this will likely be the final update for me unless I drop by in the future just to tell you where I am at in life. After everything that happened with the custody loophole, I decided to listen to a comment on my last post, and that's how influential Reddit can be. Let's continue. I am finally taking a stand for my own life, and I am absolutely not letting someone ruin it. I was given the gift of smarts, which is exactly why I was able to graduate so early. It is time for me to finally use that to my advantage because I have big places to go in life. I am not going to let their actions take control of my future anymore. Here's the plan. I am leaving for Georgia sometime next week. When I get there and turn 16 next month, I am going to immediately file for emancipation in juvenile court. I am fully prepared for this. I run my own business, make around $1,000 every single month in pure profit, and I budget really well. Plus, I will be staying in a safe environment with my good auntie. It feels amazing to finally do this. Thank you so much to everyone who has contributed in any way, from giving solid advice to just sending love and support. This is me officially checking out. So, am I the jerk for taking control of my own life? Wow. Reading that, I actually feel proud about this person. Not everyone has the capacity to file for emancipation at this kind of age. Let's see what the users are saying. From Sensitive Night 8908, congratulations. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and ask for help as needed. We all need it now and then. And don't forget to enjoy your life. I'm wishing you all the wonderful magic life has to offer. I really wish I knew more about the original story or context, since this story that we have selected is an update. In the future, let me have a look if I can find the original story. But yep, let's look at the next comment, and I'm also happy reading this comment for our OP. Years and years ago, I got emancipated when I was 16. The court cared about my grades, the ability to support myself, and if I stayed out of trouble. I got help from legal aid. And, all these things, like caring about his grades, ability to support himself or herself, that's actually a lot of, accountability that the court is doing for this kid. Sometimes even more than the parents themselves. And, I really feel like a proud uncle, to be honest, while reading all these. I feel so excited about these kids owning a business at this age, being emancipated. It's not that easy. It will be challenging for sure, but I'm proud of them for having the courage, having the capacity to do these things, right? And let me read the next comment. From OK Chemistry 9933, you are very smart and genuinely wise for getting out of a toxic family relationship. I wish you the very best and know you will succeed. You could never be a jerk for protecting your peace. I wish I had at your age. Okay, the OP also had a very good reason for getting emancipated. It was a toxic family relationship. Too bad we don't have all the details, but yeah, that's one of the very valid and good reasons that a kid can have for getting emancipation. So if you yourself have been emancipated, or you are thinking about it, or you know someone who has gone through this, why don't you let us know in the comments how the experience was, or how the experience of that person was, and people might be able to learn something new, right? So thank you, and I will moving on to the next story. From Far Confidence 8158, am I the jerk for wanting to distance myself from a close friend? Alright, interesting. Let's see the context. TLDR, I want to distance myself from a friend but don't want to seem like the bad guy. I'm a guy, and me and this girl have been close friends since we were in middle school, and we are now about to enter our first year of college. Over time in the past year, our friendship dynamic has sort of shifted, as it's become more of her complaining. Every time we text, it's a new complaint. It's never good news, and I try my best to help her see the positive and give solutions when needed and just be there to listen. But as of lately, it is starting to become draining. She herself has identified that she might be a pessimist, but still, she has made no effort on improving that aspect of herself. She complains about her boyfriend who treats her unfairly but yet stays in the relationship. I'm tired of hearing about the complaints daily. How do I go about solving this? Okay, he didn't even ask if he was the jerk, and I think, I can confidently say you're not the jerk in this case, but let's see what other users are saying and what advice they gave him. From Drink More Champagne, this is, funny username. This is the time of life where everyone starts figuring out who they are. You and your gal friend are just growing apart. Totally normal. Just let it fizzle out, be less available, be busy more often. She'll find new people to whine and complain to. Alright, yep, this is just, another phase of growing up and becoming more mature. Sometimes we have different values, and if it's draining your energy or draining your motivation and it's not inspiring you to be with this person, no one would blame you from distancing yourself. And you will be able to find friends who are good for you, and she will be able to find other people who, will put up with her for some time until they actually tell her that, she actually has to change, right? Next comment from People Change Too. That's a perfect username. Why don't you be honest with her and tell her that her continual dumping on you is getting old and is depressing? She obviously doesn't know that she's doing that to you. I really think that she's clueless. You need to be direct and tell her. Okay, this is what I said earlier. Right, I think the OP is the sort of person who is more of, not the confrontational type. But if you are able to do that, it can be good. Just say it in a nice, polite, and respectable manner. And on how she would react upon hearing the truth, that's out of your control. Don't blame yourself however she reacts, but you did your best for her if you do that, okay? So, let's see what the next person says. From Alpaca Coil, you are allowed to step back if the friendship is draining you all the time. All right. So definitely, OP, you're not the jerk and we're with you. Okay. So we do have friends like these sometimes. And if you are listening right now, you're experiencing the same thing that the OP is going through, let us know in the comments. Maybe there's something that you have an idea of how to handle this kind of situation, or maybe you've had this kind of friend and you were able to deal with it properly. You can tell us as well. And if you're someone who's on the other camp, maybe you're the one who's pessimistic and complaining a lot, well, what I would tell you, sometimes it always helps to be self-aware and conscious that yeah, we have a lot of things that we can complain about the world, but let's not be one of them that people will complain about, okay? So, let's move on to the next story. Am I the jerk for taking a kid's toy at fireworks? Okay, well, that depends. Let's see what the story is about. So, we are sitting there watching fireworks, and this thing comes out of nowhere and hits my wife in the shoulder. She flips out because she thinks it's a bat, and she has a thing about bats. Neither here nor there, I guess. Anyway, it's one of these light-up planes that you throw around like a paper airplane. It's a kid's. He comes to get it. Wife hands it to him. So we're sitting there watching fireworks, and the same thing happens again. Hits my leg, and all that maybe 3 minutes later. I pick the thing up and kid who is about 4 comes to get it. I say, I'm holding on to it until the end of the show. We're trying to watch. Parents are about 25 feet away and can see the whole thing. Did nothing to stop it. Did tell him the first time to apologize, I think, but nothing sincere. Anyway, Dad, who we'll call Pietro, not his real name, probably, because how the heck would I even know what his name is? Am I right? Comes over and flips out like I'm trying to keep his kid's toy. I said, I'm trying to watch fireworks. I told him I'd give it to him when the show is over. Mind you, fireworks are still going. Dad is going on about how I have no right. I don't even know if he actually asked for the thing back. But I handed it to him and told him not to give it to his kid before the show was over, which set him off because who am I to boss him and all that? So it ended up being more of a distraction than if I just given it back to the kid after the second time. Was I the jerk for trying to hold on to this thing so we could enjoy the show in peace? I get that no one likes other people parenting their kids or whatever, but I feel like I should have a right to watch the show without worrying about projectiles. TLDR, am I the jerk for trying to hold the kid's toy till fireworks were over? Okay, so this could be a gray area, but I'm leaning towards saying that you're not the jerk. I think the parent of that kid also has a responsibility to teach his kid that they have to be considerate of other people who are watching. And but let's see what the other users are saying. From Lipstick and Limes, I had this experience with kids playing with a balloon at a crowded party and knocking over drinks. 100% pop the balloon and put an end to it. Kids will be kids, but boundaries are important. Very good. I like that. Kids in public spaces need to be well behaved, or their parents can take them to kids-only spaces. I like that. That's correct. Let's see the next comment. From Small Town Gal 1979, not the jerk. The parent should have apologized for his kid and been understanding. Yeah, very good point. So I think people who, spoil their kids tend to also focus on just being the victim or not taking accountability when their kids actually make a mistake or do something wrong. And yeah, they pull out the victim card saying that they're actually, the one being harassed or abused, but they're actually the one not providing full accountability for their kids' actions. Okay, so let's go to the next comment. Here's from another user. I'm gonna go against the grain here. Light little toy hits your wife once and you once. BFD. You act like it was distracting you from the fireworks, but it's not like fireworks have a plot. If you look away for 3 seconds and then turn back, you're not going to be lost. Warn the kid to throw the toy some other direction and give it back. Not your toy, not your kid, and you're a stranger to these people. Alright, so we have someone who also goes against the grain or who is supporting the other camp. I wouldn't say that he's wrong. He also has a good point. It technically wasn't the property of the OP to begin with. And he can also just, tell the kid not to do that, which he actually did, okay? Let me just clarify that the OP actually warned the kid. And he also warned the father, okay? Tell them that they are actually distracting them while watching the fireworks show. So, you've got a point, but still, I'm leaning towards that kid's parents should have more responsibility and accountability, and I don't blame the OP for holding on to the toy, and besides, it's just a kid's toy, right? Let me know if you have any thoughts on how to handle this situation. Feel free to let us know down in the comments. And as usual, if you love the stories, thank you so much for watching. You know what to do, and see you on the next video.